everybody. Happy Tomato Talk Live. Happy Friday, everybody. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Jen.
And
we're happy to be here.
Very happy to be here. We came last week. We had an event last week in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. So we had kind of an unofficial Tomato Talk Live, but we do this normally on the first Friday of the month. And we talk tomatoes. So if it's your first time watching, we welcome you. Mm-hmm. Jen has, she's the queen of tomatoes. She has a very successful YouTube channel. If you aren't a subscriber, make sure you check her out. I'm known as Mrs. Tomato Head. And we've got a very special guest tonight who we've had on before, but it's been a minute. We've tried to get him on. He's one of our favorite people, one of our favorite breeders for sure. So we'll be welcoming Bill Yoder to the program. And if you are new, this is an interactive broadcast, so we welcome all your comments and questions. Bill is more than happy to do that. Before we get started and bring Bill on, just a couple things. We have Jen and I with our friend Kina. We run a group on Facebook called Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap. If you're not on Facebook, if you hate Facebook, I get it, but join just to be a member of our community. It's really a great, kind and generous and informational place for tomatoes, right, Jen?
Oh, yes. There's lots of guides and things that, it'll blow your mind.
Yes. And even if you're just considering growing tomatoes, you join us. Trust me, we'll help you out.
We'll have your garden full of unique, delicious tomatoes.
And speaking of generous people, and the members of our group we have a couple prizes tonight given away by two of our very generous members. John Kramer is going to be giving away a $25 gift certificate to purchase anything from Bill Yoder's shop. Nice. So that will be one thing. And then Teresa Begin has two different seed packages she's giving away. 10 seeds. For package one is 10 seeds of Dwarf Edith Stone, Dwarf Speckled Heart, Dwarf Sweet / Electra, which is a variegated variety, Dwarf Nano's Meatball, one of my favorites, and Dwarf Electric Pinky. And then package two is Suffer Well, one of my all-time favorite tomatoes, bred by our guest today. Mm-hmm. Maple syrup, melon liqueur, Marina's Praise, and Jarson 10. So thank you, John.
And yes, thank you, John and Teresa. Oh my goodness, those are both really awesome packages, Teresa.
Totally.
Yeah.
And they come to us. We never ask anybody. They come to us. It's just so amazing. Mm-hmm. All you have to do to win is type in hashtag tomato in the comments, and we'll do a drawing at the end of the episode. So, thanks for everybody that came out to Carlisle last week. I don't want to waste a whole lot of time talking about it because we want to bring Bill on. 90 minutes goes really fast. Yes. So let's introduce him right now. Hang on, got to get 3 speakers. Our friend Bill Yoder. Hey, Bill.
Hi there. Hey, everybody.
Thanks for being here with us.
Yes.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Very exciting day.
Yeah.
The last time you were on was March 2024. And I know we've tried a few times. Yeah, it's been a long time.
Wow. We've been doing this for a while, haven't we, Lauren?
We have. Yeah. I think you were just introducing the Depeche Mode line.
Okay.
So for those of you that don't know Bill's work, if you're in the group, you definitely know Bill's work. But he has these gorgeous varieties. I can show you a couple that I've grown the past couple of years. Is it this one?
Rockstar breeder, right?
Rockstar. Oh, not that either. Hang on, where'd it go? There it is. I grew this one this year, Fascination Street.
Oh, pretty.
So he has lines of tomatoes that are go along collections with rock stars, rock bands. My favorite being Duran Duran, which was a new one for him this year. He and I talk about Duran Duran and music a lot. The Cure, the first one he did was...
Boys.
What'd you say?
You've got Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys. And you've got a bunch of new ones coming out, right, Bill?
Yeah, got some already ready. And then I'm working on another couple of sets that, if things go well, I hope to have them in December.
Oh, awesome.
I have to verify that they're stable, and I have to make it to the finish line. So
remind us of some of the bands, the new ones. Is Tears for Fears in there?
Oh yeah, let's see. Yeah, let's see. Tears for Fears is one. They're already available. I think there's three varieties. I don't have the sheet up right now. There was Tears for Fears released this fall, and a couple of miscellaneous ones, one-offs. Soft Cell was
Mm.
one for that, and what was the other group? I'm looking at the winter list right now. I forgot the fall list.
I meant to get your website. Bill now has a website.
Human League, yeah.
Human
Did
League.
several for Human League collection. So Tears for Fears, Human League, Soft Cell, Love Comes Quickly. Then I'm working on some things for REM and for the Police and for Billy Idol. So those will be the next
Excellent.
things hopefully coming.
I meant to get your website and oops.
Yeah, I was going to say, I hear an echo of you.
I know. This is happening with Instagram. Oh, I know why. I just solved it. I was on I had YouTube up for a particular reason, but now it's off. I meant to get your website address to put it up. He has a new website. You can't order directly from the website yet, but it's a great resource to show all your varieties new and upcoming, right?
Yeah, I figured it's easier to have a place to see all of the varieties, pictures, and brief descriptions. I'm going to keep working on enhancing it and adding new things. You cannot order from it yet. It's not an e-commerce site yet. I'm
If
waiting
if
if I'm going to have time to do that. And it's not very user friendly on a mobile app because I threw this together in a few hours one day a few months ago using Wix, which I have no experience with. So it looks fine on the desktop. The formatting's kind of wonky. Mobile app. I'm trying to carve out some time to work on that to make it a little easier to go through.
if one of you out there could pull up or put the link to Bill's website in the comments, that would be super helpful. I wasn't prepared.
Yeah, and it's not, you can't find it on Google. I mean, I'm using the free version. I need to upgrade so that I can get it connected and out there.
We have it listed in the group, so hopefully somebody can pull it up soon. So we are big fans, definitely big fans. I know we've become good friends too, but definitely big fans of your work. They're like, your tomatoes are like art, right, Jen?
Oh my goodness, yes. So pretty. I grew a bunch this year and they're all gorgeous.
Nice.
Yes.
Glad to hear it.
Beautiful tomatoes, very tasty. Some of my favorites, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah. Oh yeah.
Cool. I know there's several anthos in there, and some people like them, some not so much.
My husband likes the antho stuff, so I have to grow some of that every year. I'm not a huge fan, but a lot of yours, it's like subtle.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. That's what we're going for, is to not have it be overpowering. You know,
like Fascination Street, I loved, and that has antho. The only one that was really, really strong to me was last year's Strange Love. That was really strong antho for me, but the rest of them are very subtle, where I quite like them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but every time I think you're done, you come out with new stuff, and I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah, it comes from evening activities, I think.
Someone
listening to music and
What was the variety someone posted the other day that was absolutely gorgeous? One of his varieties. They showed pictures of it. It was
Halo.
Halo, yes.
Yeah. That was really cool. I had forgotten that I get some purple bleeding in the interior on that one sometimes. I'm still not sure how much of that's genetic and how much of it's environmental. I really don't know.
Yeah.
But that is one that seems to be more prominent.
Oh, Lauren kicked herself off again.
Yeah.
She told you once every time. Lauren, come back. Oh, yeah. So your tomatoes are beautiful. There you are.
And now the music. I said I kicked myself out of my own episodes. I don't know what happens. Yes, Halo was beautiful. In fact, Ongwei ES said, "What is this Halo? I need it."
Yeah.
And I want to say
it's really productive too, and a really strong plant. I like it a lot.
I was just going to say that your plants are so strong. I went over to Materville today, and the chauffeur had about 5 surprise tomatoes on it. And I have not, I, I have neglected stuff. Like, I think it was like mid-July and I just threw my hands up and said, I don't even care anymore. I got hit with aphids at the beginning of the year and they just annoyed me. And then I got rid of them, but my plants had already suffered.
Mhm.
But like, I've not watered, I've not fertilized, and your varieties over there are still putting stuff on. Like the
Right.
chauffeur. I like, what are these? And I'm like, I've got the
Yeah.
chauffeurs. Just they're gorgeous. Like, and we went through a drought for
Yeah.
like 7 weeks, nothing, no rain, and I didn't
Wow.
water. And that plant's not dead yet. Like,
Yeah.
there's
That had a
Strong
second
root system on that one.
too.
It's a vigorous plant for sure.
they are some
There is a-
hardy varieties.
They're huge and beautiful. That was a superstar for me too. Where'd it go? Here it is. Here's the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should have
Um,
brought them out. They're so pretty. And I'm like, how are these here? Because I have not watered you. The soil is so dry. And
Yeah.
I don't even think there's any foliage on the dang plant. I'm just there's just tomatoes. I was like, oh my gosh, gorgeous tomatoes.
and
Yeah,
gratitude.
for me, it's usually one of the last ones standing in the garden for sure at the end of the year.
This one for me is insane. Gratitude. It's
Yeah.
non-stop, huge fruits, a really tasty pink variety. It never ends. So
It's almost triangular, the picture that you have.
yeah, it does look triangular, that one. They're kind of mainly hearts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Occasionally you'll get an oblate off of it, but it's predominantly I'm getting hearts these days, which is obviously what I was after for the. Like you said, really productive, really strong plant. I mean, that's one of my focuses on the breeding. Is started out breeding for. I wanted to have things that local farmers could grow to get them off of their hybrids and
yeah,
find heirlooms that, or no, I was just saying, created heirlooms that they could take as market tomatoes and be fairly reliable and adaptable. And so that's, to this day, that's still most of my varieties. That's one of the key attributes I'm looking for.
Yeah, well, your tomatoes can take a pounding. I can tell you that.
Bill is very humble, but he's quite famous not only in the tomato world, but in his area. He's from the Atlanta area, and he brings tomatoes to all the best restaurants in his area. And there's a big photo of him in one of the Whole Foods in the area, right, Bill? And your story.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. Yeah.
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 So
Cool.
he's not only breeding and gifting us with all kinds of great varieties, but he's supplying the local restaurants with some. I mean, if you were a chef, wouldn't you want Bill Yoder to?
Oh my golly, yes.
Yeah, we're winding that down somewhat these days.
Yeah.
I was going to say that's going to be a lot.
And you know, the weather is changing. I plant very early because I have a greenhouse. I plant very early. Most of my focus is on breeding these days. I'm not really selling. So I want to get in, get my work done, and get out before the middle of summer, so I don't have to suffer in the heat. But interesting with anybody out there that sells to restaurants. I've learned over the years that they don't. They're not as adaptable sometimes as you'd like them to be. When things are available, take them. A lot of times they're tied to a menu at a specific point in the summer, and you have things early, they're not ready for it. So you have to seek out and work with people, you know, that can have the flexibility to work with you.
Yeah.
Well,
But, you know, as it gets hotter and hotter, and the seasons are changing slightly. You know, a lot of things coming in earlier now than they used to. And so, you know.
And we'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to talk. Bill is quite has a lot of knowledge in greenhouse growing, and Jen and I've never really talked about it because I know nothing about it. I don't even have a greenhouse. Jen has a greenhouse.
Yeah, it's just little. It's just a little thing. My husband built it for me.
Beautiful though. Cindy
It's
C.
like double layered with plastic, so it holds heat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cindy C. from the Philippines says, I'm growing a lot of Bills this season thanks to Linda. We know Linda that is. She's always so generous. This Linda, Christmas presents.
Oh, yeah.
And Cindy says that the 1999 is very productive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is crazy. That and Little Red Corvette on those little plants. It's amazing. Last
Mhm.
winter, I grew them in a 1 gallon container, which was really only a 3/4 gallon by volume container. And it was the first winter that I actually kept up with them and paid attention to them and fed them properly. And the production was just crazy.
I think that was the last time you were on. We were talking about because your Prince collection was out, and you were telling Jen and I that I grew this in a 1 gallon container. And we looked at each other like, "What? We
I
need."
know.
I didn't know that could be done. A
Yeah,
tomato.
some days I had 35 tomatoes on that plant.
That's crazy.
I've been doing it with my favorite of the line is Raspberry Beret, which does great. It does better in a 2 gallon, even better in a 3 gallon, but it does just fine. And I'm looking to breed it with something with a micro dwarf.
Yeah, it is better on
Delicious.
a. It's just a shorter, stocky. It's kind of a wider plant,
Yeah.
bushier than the 1999 and Little Red
Hector
Corvette.
says hello. What's up, Bill?
Hey,
Eva, hello, everyone. If you have any questions for Bill, any comments, Kim's here. Gratitude was insanely productive for me this year.
oh, good.
I agree. I had to grow it because of the name with gratitude.
Did you grow blasphemous rumors?
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
that's another productive one. Yep.
Very. That's another one that like it's still producing fruit out there, and I don't know how because there's no foliage. Like I'm just tomatoes. I'm like, wait, I'll take it. But
Yeah.
very, very pretty tomato. That was like, yeah, very tasty too. And
And I
like
know Kina told us she loved it also. Where's Blasphemous Rumors? I have it here somewhere.
Yeah, behind the wheel still throws a little bit of different looks. It's very environmental dependent as far as the coloration you get on the exterior.
Really?
Yeah, it can really change a lot.
I don't know what I did with
Ask
Blasphemous.
him a lot of those anthos. I know a lot of. I'm trying to beef up the website eventually to show because I grow a lot and do a lot of breeding in the winter. I take a lot of pictures in the winter, and you're seeing a lot more antho expression in the winter. And so, like for Rio from Duran Duran, Rio was one, and I forget the other one. There were a few that people were questioning because they're harvesting them in the heat of summer. They're not seeing as much antho, getting a little more brighter color. So just wanted to confirm that they were coming out through the pipe, and they are. I mean, that's so environmental dependent. So I'm trying to now put summer harvest and winter harvest pictures up so you can see the difference depending on your environment when you're growing.
do you still see a good amount of antho when growing in your greenhouse? Because I've heard that like there's less antho because of like less UV hitting the.
Yeah, so I'm strategic with that. What I do, my greenhouse is oriented north and south, so I get a lot of sun in the morning and in the evening. And so
Okay.
all of my antho varieties, I'm growing on my two outside beds on the left and right, so they're
Okay.
getting much more exposure. Yeah, and I did a little playing too. I, I'd grow a variety on one side or the other, and then I'd stick one in one of the middle rows, and yeah, you can see the difference for
Yeah.
sure.
I've noticed
It's
in the
like the
beginning
outside if you prune or not.
when there's more foliage like covering up the tomatoes.
Right.
Like it's like night and day. Like at the end of the season, there's like lots of antho because a lot of the foliage has gotten diseased and fallen off.
Right.
And then at the beginning, it's like I've taken pictures where people are like, this isn't the right variety, and I'm like, just wait. At the end of the season, you'll see the antho.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes
Yeah.
it's not there when there's a ton of foliage, and you think, oh, this isn't the right thing, but no, it's usually just because the plant is just, the covering the tomatoes and they're not getting hit directly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to keep up with pruning, and that helps. Even earlier in the season, if I'm able to prune and stay on top of it, then you're allowing more light in.
Mm-hmm.
In addition to the other benefits from your pruning, if you're growing antho varieties, you're going to see more of that expression. Yeah.
T,
But
please.
then the cooler temps in the fall and winter also bring about.
I'm sorry, say that again, Bill.
The cooler temperatures in the fall and winter also bring out the expression.
Do they?
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
T Please 17 says, looking forward to growing many of your varieties in 2026. Bill, thanks for the seeds.
Awesome. Thanks. I look forward to hearing how they do.
Kelly Natchbull says, I grew Rio, New Moon on Monday. She's my Duran Duran friend. Moon on Monday, Save a Prayer, the Chauffeur, and the Reflex this year. Unfortunately, my Reflex refused to bloom. It's over 6 feet, but not a single bloom. I'll give it another go in 2026. That's too bad. I was so excited for Hungry Like the Wolf, which is this gorgeous, deep mahogany cherry. Not only because it's Duran Duran, but it just looks like something that's heavenly. And my plant, it was in death row, which is a whole other thing. But it worked. It was doing well for a while, and then it stopped before I got production. But thankfully, was it you that brought them, Jen?
Mhm.
Jen brought them on Friday, and I got to taste them. And do you remember what I told you?
It's a monster.
Do you remember what I told you when I bit into it?
No.
I said, "Oh my God, it juices like wine."
It's like, yeah, it is. Again, like I have not watered, I've not fertilized, and this thing is climbed all the way up like a 4-foot trellis. And then I have like arch trellises. It's reached over and completely covered, and it's coming down the other side.
Cool.
I'm just, it's your varieties are,
That's good to know, because I didn't really give that one a push outside because I was limited on space. So that one was mainly bred and grown indoors. So
it's a monster. It's all over the thing. All over the arch. Yeah. It just keeps going. Tomatoes all over it. Yeah. I didn't have a whole lot to bring to the meetup last week, but I had a ton of hungry.
I was thrilled I got to taste that.
Roman was sitting there and he's just shoveling them in.
I do like the coloration on that one, though.
Oh, yeah.
You kind of get the red coming through the dark.
I'm definitely doing it next
really
year.
good.
And I think they like, a lot of those black, dark cherries, they like a drier climate.
Oh, do they? Well, that's good in our
garden. That's why I like to do it so well.
I gave it what it wanted then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Kathleen says she loved the chauffeur.
Nice.
Hector says Come Undone was a massive producer for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Malachite Jen's here. Hey, Malachite Jen, checking in. Sick kiddo at home. I'm sorry, Junie's not feeling so well. Jamie Hill wants to know, Bill, what are your top 5 tomatoes?
Ooh, yes, let's hear. I got my
question. Feeding to the
changes by the day. What I'm in the mood for.
What is it today?
Yeah, what would it be today? Let's see. What would it be? Definitely suffer well.
I got to on my plate.
Let's see. One that's coming out, well, my favorite, probably. I'm hoping, it'll be. I'll have seeds available soon. Is the one with the 2 names, because I got in trouble.
Oh, right.
What's this?
We'll refer to it as a white tornado. So it's a white
tornado.
It's white beefsteak with blue antho stripes. Very productive.
It's gorgeous.
And just, to me, it's a combination of the flavor and the texture on that one. To me, it's the perfect tomato for me that I like.
It's named after a song that has like sex in the title, and his wife didn't like that, right?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
That sounds like a name I'd like. What was it?
That's my very first cross I'd done before even I did the Prince varieties. I crossed a couple of tomatoes, and the name was shot down.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, well, have to behave.
I love fun names.
Yeah.
I put them in my naughty corner.
Yeah. I figured I'd stick to music, but even then, I apparently got in trouble. But
I grew up this year called Dixville. I thought it was.
Yeah, you gave me that plant. I didn't really care for that one too much.
I didn't either, but I didn't grow it for the fruit.
Barb says, nice to meet Bill.
Probably would be Come Undone. I really like that one because it's early and productive, and it just keeps going and going and going.
And you really love the chauffeur too, right?
Yeah, for sure.
As of last year, that was one of your favorites.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they're such big tomatoes and they're so productive.
Yeah.
It'd be a great market tomato.
Plant.
Yeah.
Barb says, just received $19.99. The first Bill Yoder seeds I got. Super excited.
Oh, yeah. You'll love that one.
You will be addicted.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Janet says, anxiously awaiting my seeds any day. Thanks, Bill.
Awesome.
They are in the mail.
Oh,
they're on the way.
Here's referencing Tim's son. My 4-year-old Hungry Like the Wolf was his favorite. He asked for it by name every day.
Yeah, I think for cherries, my favorites are Rio and why am I blanking on the other one? Oh, wow. Rio for sure. And now I've lost. Just can't get enough from the Depeche Mode
Okay.
collection. I love that tomato. The flavor is just amazing.
I love raspberry beret. I
Yeah,
love
I got to grow
raspberry
that one.
beret.
I didn't get to grow that one. I grew all
No,
the other ones, but
it's got
1999 and
great flavor. Linda says Ordinary World planted super late. It's producing in a 5-gallon bucket.
Nice. Very
Haley
cool.
says Hunger Like the Wolf was amazing.
Glad to hear that it did well.
So one of the things we thought we would talk about today, and it was kind of your idea, Bill, and it's a great one because we haven't talked about it, but greenhouse growing.
Hmm.
So how long have you been growing in a greenhouse, and tell us how is it different and what special things we need to do?
Yeah, so I started probably not with a formal greenhouse, but what I would call protected culture when I was in the dwarf tomato breeding project. Started by just throwing some cattle panel greenhouses up and covering them with plastic. Um, and then I realized that as the season went on and it was going to get super hot under the plastic, I just threw a shade cloth over it and I just kept them growing all season. Uh, that was my first experience in protected culture growing. So I had 2 or 3 of those for several years. And again, those, because of the height of cattle panel greenhouses, is only 6 feet at the apex. So that was where I did all the dwarf breeding work. Then it was the end of 2019. Wow, God, the end of 2019, start of 2020 was when I had a real greenhouse built, constructed. Um, a couple of guys I hired. I didn't buy a kit from any company, so I can't speak to any company's product, but I had one built, and it's double layer plastic. It has ventilation, but no other climate control. So I guess this is the 5th year, 6th year. Oh wow, probably time for new plastic. Wow. Um, so I learned a couple of things early on that greenhouse environment is obviously much different than growing outdoors, and you're trading one set of problems for another set. So I had insects invasions in the greenhouse that I have every year that I don't. Some I
Mhm.
have outside, but a lot of them are only greenhouse related. Um,
I've got to
and then
imagine once they
you'll
get
get
in
certain
the
diseases.
greenhouse, it's tough to get rid of them, I'd imagine, right?
Yeah, because it's such a concentrated environment that you never have a small problem. When you have an insect outbreak, you got to get on it. You got to get on it fast because they will breed so fast.
mm-hmm.
And so I learned pretty quick that spraying wasn't really a good option. And so I started going the VCA route, purchasing beneficial insects.
Okay.
And it can get a little costly depending on which predator. I mean, for me, the most common insects in the greenhouse are spider mites, whiteflies, and then aphids. And the spider mites are the most difficult for me to eradicate, and then the whiteflies would be next. Um, but there's a science to it. I mean, there's lots of different beneficial insect species, and so you really need to do your research if you're going to go that route, because a lot of them are temperature dependent. So, like, I have to buy 3 different varieties of insects to treat the spider mites at each point in the season, because some of them are not can't handle hot weather, they'll die. Some of them can't handle cool weather, they'll die.
Hmm.
And so I kind of have to know early, mid, and late season, what to purchase, and because you don't want to spend all that money and then they just die. So they
Yeah.
don't have a hospitable environment. This year was really bad. I've gotten on a really good regimen, and I've learned the timing of when they're going to arrive, and so I knew when to purchase and how many times I had. Some of the things you have to purchase multiple times to get on top of them, so you might have to do a release every week or every other week for several weeks, especially if you've waited too long and the numbers have gotten big. If you have too great a number at some point, even the beneficials, they're just outnumbered. So it's very important to get on it early. Um, when we did this year, I lost a week in April, which was when one of them exploded, the whitefly exploded. I was away for a week, and I never got on top of it. I bought the insects, but they were too great in number, and so it's really important to get on them early.
Wow.
Um, Spraying doesn't really work um, unless you're doing if you've got a fogger, that can work, and I do have a fogging machine because a lot of those insects are on the undersides of the leaves, and
Right.
so you're spraying, but a lot of times it's contact spray for a lot of the organic sprays. So if you can't hit them, then it's not going to do any good. It helps to be diligent with your pruning. And if you prune properly, then that again opens up areas you can get at the insects better. They can't hide as well. So even another reason to prune and stay on top of that. Um, but I think we've got a
When
pretty
you
good regimen on
prune,
that now.
do you have like a particular way you prune, or is it just like do you take all the suckers off? Do you have a rhyme or reason? You just try to, you know,
Yeah. So one of I think one of the biggest changes I made over the last 2 years was the way my trellising system, the way I support the tomatoes. Because what I always do is always prune to two mains in the greenhouse. I plant the tomatoes 2 feet apart, and then I have two mains going up, and I prune everything else off. So I basically have a limb every foot going up. Uh, I used to use roller hooks like a lot of people do, and then do the lower and lean method. Um, it's pretty labor intensive, and you're doing a lot of work every week. And you're having to do the same amount of work every week. So if a plant grows a foot a week, you're basically every week you're having to lower and lean a foot up, slide it over. Um, but what I found a few years ago is a company. I think they're out of Tennessee. That I don't know if the gentleman invented the product or he purchased the products from Europe. But there's a system that uses a lot of metal hooks. It's called a hook and wicket system, and the company is Never Sink Farms.
oh, I
And
know them. They have
are
wind strip trays.
yeah,
And
exactly,
they have
yeah.
a podcast too.
Yeah, so they've got some videos. They call it a hook and wicket system for trellising, and it is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Everything he said it would be, it is. It's expensive. The metal's expensive to buy, but it's saving me 80% labor easily.
Really? So
It's
what is it? Can you explain how it works?
yeah, trying to describe. But if you go to the Never Sink Farms or go to YouTube, he's got videos on it. But basically, the concept is typically when people are trellising and supporting tomatoes in the greenhouse, they've got an overhead wire, and a lot of times they'll lower and lean with like a roller hook. Um,
Okay.
but what he uses is it's a metal hook that hangs from the overhead wire, and he has two clamps. And the idea is you have an upper and a lower clamp, and the idea is to open the lower clamp and slide the plant down, lower the plant with the upper clamp.
Cool.
And then the real key to this, though, is the supporting of the tomatoes is what's called wickets. And wickets are, it's kind of like a hoop, but it's flat. So every plant, I have one of his wickets. It's like got two legs, and then it spans across horizontally the bed. And so if you can imagine, it's kind of like a truss system. If you can imagine at every plant or every foot or 2 feet, you have one of these support wickets. It's like two metal legs and a support going across. And what you've done is you've created an area where the plant can lay down. So when you're lowering the plant and you're shifting it over, the fruit that's all on the bottom of the plant, bottom
Right.
area, it's now laying on the wickets.
Okay.
So all of the weight of the plant is now being supported by this steel wicket system, as opposed to all the weight hanging from your overhead lines. If you think about that, and I was warned many times when I started growing in a greenhouse that don't attach your guide wires to the ends of the greenhouse like a lot of people do. Because if you've got 250 plants in the greenhouse and it's the middle of summer, you've got 10 pounds per plant. That's over a ton of weight that's pulling
Oh,
from
yeah.
the sides of the greenhouse, and a lot of people will have collapsed greenhouses.
Ugh.
So a lot of people will install posts on the interior and not attach them to the end, which is what I did initially because I had not discovered the system. once I did, I realized that, oh, this is a great idea to have all the weight, be supported by the wickets hanging on attached to the beds. And then the lowering and leaning, the big benefit is instead of having to, because I'm not very tall, so every week I've got 210 plants in the greenhouse. Every week I would have to take my step ladder and climb up a step or two and reach up and unhook the roller and lower it down. And I'm doing that 210 times every
Yeah.
week.
I was going to say, moving the ladder, climbing back
Yeah,
up, moving
yeah,
the ladder. Yeah.
yeah. But with these clips, you're working basically, and he sells the metal hooks in different lengths. So depending on the height of your overhead wire, some people do 8 feet, some might do higher, some might do lower. You get the right size to where you're working at chest level and stomach level with your hooks. So you're constantly lowering and sliding down here, and you're not having to get up on a ladder. It's hard to, I'm not explaining it very well, but the videos are self-explanatory.
Right.
Anybody who wants to look at it, it's a great system. It's saved me so much work because the other thing in the summer when it's so hot in that greenhouse, if you climb up a couple of steps,
Oh,
it's
yeah.
15 degrees hotter up there than it is 2 feet lower.
Yeah.
And so you're really saving yourself a lot of energy and time and effort.
So this is Never Sink Farms, right? Never Sink is one word, I think.
It's called Hook and Wicket, and it's easily the best thing I've done in my greenhouse.
And Drew, yes.
If you're growing any binding crops, tomatoes, cucumbers, anything where you need to lower them. But my greenhouse is the other thing to consider that I considered was the sidewalls. I extended my sidewall height up because a lot of people will grow in high tunnels. They
Right.
don't want to spend money on a real greenhouse, an expensive one. They'll do high tunnels, but a lot of times your side rows on each side are pretty short. You might have 6 feet of height, and so that gets it gets super hot, because your plants are that close to that plastic in the summer.
Right.
And they suffer greatly. So I made sure I extended my sidewalls up to 8.5 feet, so that my shortest beds on the sides would still have a couple of feet, to play with. And then you make your peak height as high as you can, because again, you don't want the plant in the heat, so you want to raise the height of your greenhouse as high as you can, and it works for you so that heat is up here and not down at your plants. And then you got to have really good ventilation as well. The ventilation is another key in the greenhouse. I wish I would have bought a little more stronger fan. I'd ordered 2 proper ones, but one of them that they sent me wasn't the right device. So I've been suffering with a little bit of a lack of proper ventilation, and that causes all kinds of problems.
Does it? Like what?
Well, I mean, if you don't get the airflow, everything stays stagnant. The humidity is too high. The insects don't disperse as easy. The other key is the other thing where you need adequate ventilation is for a little better temperature regulation. One of the biggest problems I've had in the greenhouse over the years is not being climate controlled. I can't control the temperature, and so I can't control the plant, and so it'll swing in and out of a vegetative state more than I would like. One good example is, it's probably common with a lot of people. First thing in the morning, as the sun comes up, your greenhouse will heat up very rapidly, 20, 30 degrees, in 20 minutes. And that shocks the crap out of the plants. They do not like that. So I'm always having to fight that battle. What I learned to do was, since my greenhouse is oriented north and south, the sun's coming up in the east. So on the east side, I put a shade cloth on sidewall, because when you're shading a greenhouse, usually it's just going over the top. It comes down to like head height or shoulder height maybe on the sides. But I shaded the entire east side, and that helped a lot. That kept the temperature from jumping so quick in the morning. And you'll know when your plants are going vegetative in there because of the climate. If they stretch, if they curl at the top, If uh, if the flower trusses are elongated, where you've got a really long and narrow stem in the flowers, and that's a sign that the plant's not happy. I did an experiment this summer when I was having that issue, based on some research I've done. And there's a specific pruning technique you can do to pull it out of that vegetative state. Because when it's in that state, you're not going to get fruit set. It's going to, your blossoms are going to drop. So I learned to prune every third leaf, to take some of the vegetation away and focus more of the plant's energy into the fruit set, and it helped a lot. So, I mean, you could even do that outdoors if it's in the middle of the summer and the plant's just super hot, or if you get a lot of rain and it puts on too much growth too rapidly, and you want to take off some of that vegetation. It's out of balance. You're getting way too much vegetation too fast. So you want to always try to get the plant in balance.
Yeah.
I assume you have a irrigation system of some kind.
What's that?
I assume you have an irrigation system of some kind.
Yeah, so the irrigation I do, so I grow in beds of potting mix, soilless mix. So it's kind of a hydroponic, but it's in a soilless mix, not in water. So I do drip irrigation on everything. Um, it's controlled, it's monitored, so I'm giving it just the right amount of water. Um, the key is as the plant's growing throughout the season is you've got to know to adapt, to change your watering. You got to increase your watering. When the plant starts fruiting, you got to change your nutrition. Took me a few years to get a handle on that. Once it starts fruit, you really need to switch, pump more calcium, potassium into it. I use kind of an all-in-one product, so it was hard for me to do that at first. But then I started buying other formulations from that company and making my own and adjusting it as I went in the season. Um, there are a couple of critical points during the season where it really changes. One is after the first heavy fruit set, and the temperatures start to warm up. I always struggle with giving them what they need at that point. I never bump my nutrients and my watering up enough. And so I always have a week or two where I'm not getting good fruit set, and I need to do this. It's better that if you have the monitoring equipment and you're diligent with that, but things happen. Can't always do it. And,
And when it gets hot, you kind of don't feel like doing it.
It's tough. And in the middle of summer, if you don't have adequate ventilation or temperature regulated greenhouse, I mean, the overnight temperatures stay pretty warm, and that's another. It's not so much the daytime temperatures that's the problem. It's the plant not being able to cool down at night.
Okay.
If it can't, then you never get a break in the temperature, and then your pollen's going to go sterile, and you're going to really suffer from lack of fruit set. So we put a wet wall in, to provide some evaporative cooling effect, and that really helped a lot of times. That could take the temperature. Like my greenhouse is 46 feet long,
Wow.
30 feet wide, I think, and the wet wall is most of the north side. But with the evaporative cooling, we can get 12 to 15 degrees cooler, which is pretty significant.
What is a wet wall?
So it's like a paper. They use them a lot out west because it's so dry. They get a lot of good evaporative cooling effect. But it's just like a paper wall that you pump water up on top of it, and it drips down.
Oh, okay.
And then the exhaust, the fan blows through, gives you some evaporative cooling. It helps early in the season and late in the season. In the middle of summer, where I'm at, it's super humid and it doesn't really have much of an effect. But we'll take anything we can get, especially overnight, to cool temperatures down. That's helped a lot. And the other thing is choice of shade cloth. I mean, obviously greenhouses can get super hot, especially if you're growing in the summer. A lot of people grow in the winter, but I'm stubborn. I want to grow in the summer. So
me too.
I use a white metallic inlay shade cloth. I forget where the company somewhere in Europe. They may have some manufactured here now, but I'm not sure. But the issue with using just a normal black shade cloth is it's actually capturing and holding the heat, and it's not deflecting the heat away. And so you're getting some shading, but you're not really you're trapping the heat there, and especially if you only have single layer plastic, that's even worse. Um, so with the white metallic shade cloth, it will actually deflect a lot of the heat, away from the structure. And the way it's manufactured, it creates a really nice even shadow across your entire floor of your structure. A typical common black shade cloth, if you've ever looked and kind of looked down, you're going to see there's all kinds of different pockets of shading to different degrees. It's not even at all. So that was another really good product to use on the structure. We did the double insulated sides because again, that's giving you another air, temperature barrier. It's giving you a little air layer, and it also helps with a little more shading. I think if I remember, it's seven. A typical 6 mil plastic layer gives you 7% shading, I believe. So with the 2 layers, we get 14% shading just from that.
Mm-hmm.
And then to determine the proper amount of shade cloth, whether you got a little cattle panel greenhouse or a high tunnel or what have you, whatever your structure is you should really, for the optimal amount of shading for your tomato crop, you should look up one of the reference charts online, or plug in your latitude. I think we're 35 degrees, and it will tell you what you need at your latitude. So like we use 50%, but a lot of people, if you were in Tennessee or Kentucky, that would be too much shade and your plant would suffer. So I think 40% is what they would use in that region, and then as you go, change it.
That's what I have is 40%.
Yeah, that's the most common. I tried it one year and it was not quite enough, especially in the summer. When I was using it outdoors, I would throw it over all of my trellis beds. When you start getting the foliar diseases, your plants get foliated and your tomatoes are exposed to the sun all day long, and you start getting sun scald, right?
Right.
So we started throwing shade cloths over the beds themselves. But I realized quickly that one layer wasn't enough. So
Yeah, I threw it over Materville this year, and
yeah,
just for me working underneath the shade cloth, that was a big difference. And I was just like, oh, now I know why my plants look so beautiful. Because
Jen Joy thrives under 40% shade cloth.
oh yeah,
I mean, it really helps. I mean, for years you have the most tomatoes on your plants probably in the middle of summer when your plants are defoliated, and then you start losing them. And just by throwing the shade cloth over, you're preserving those tomatoes, and your harvest is so much better.
mm-hmm.
Well, you've got precious stuff in there, not only stuff that you've already grown, but stuff that you're working on, and you're constantly working on new things. So it's really important that you get all this right. So, benefits of having a greenhouse is extension of your season too, right? I mean, you can start earlier and end later, right?
You can extend. I use it more for starting earlier. I'm getting a 6 to 8 week jump on a normal season, because not only do I take advantage of the greenhouse itself, but I start plants even earlier. I have a small kind of starter greenhouse as well, separate structure. I think it's 12 by 42. And I'm able to put heat in that because it's pretty efficient.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I can start plants really early in there.
That's nice.
And then pot them on a couple of times, and even put a bigger plant. I'm putting a 12-week-old plant in the big greenhouse, and even out there, I'm putting a 12-week-old plant planting in the big greenhouse a month earlier. So what I do, my greenhouse is 30 feet wide. I've got 5 beds. They are 33 inches wide each bed. And what I'm able to do with tomato crops is I'm able to plant down each side of the bed. So I've got 2 rows per bed.
Nice.
Nice.
So I've got 10 rows in there. 210 plants. So
That's
we can.
Evan.
But what we do is we put hoops over those beds, and then frost blankets over the hoops.
Mm-hmm.
So I can plant the tomatoes, or I can have them outside in that greenhouse. It's not heated. There's no temperature control.
Right.
But by taking advantage of the hoops and the frost blankets, they can withstand
Wow.
20s, low 20s, and be fine. So I'm always looking to try to start as early as possible.
Just the energy of the plants growing underneath that smaller space creates the warmth that they need, right?
Yeah, I mean it helps a lot at night too, because at night you're getting 100% condensation for hours, and by having them under 2 layers of row cloth, you're really keeping them drier as well as warmer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pain in the butt because every morning you got to go out and uncover, and then at the end of the day, when you're tired, you want to be done, you got to go cover if it's
Mm-hmm.
a difficult night. But it's a way to do it earlier, and it's a way to again, you're actually. I mean, I think the idea came to me from one of Elliot Coleman's books, his winter harvesting book, the growing book. Uh, every layer of protection, I forget, is like moving you down another climate zone. So actually, last year I did 2 layers of hoops in the greenhouse. I had a lower level and an upper level. So by the time I've got a layer of fabric over the lower hoop and a layer over the top hoop, and then the greenhouse itself, I've increased 3 zones of warmth. So it makes a huge difference. And then we take you have a greenhouse so you can then use it in off season, like we're filling it full of vegetables now for winter, not tomatoes, but
Lettuce.
I know your pictures on your Facebook page are of carrots and the lettuce and all of that. I'm just like, how does he do all this?
No bugs, fertilized properly, and like probably most of you, we have more and more deer every year, and we lost all of our outsides for the first time ever in 25 years. We lost everything outside to the deer, and I'll never go outside again.
Somebody needs to go out there and shoot them things.
Yeah, I didn't have the energy to fool with them. Like you can have it. But, yeah, so we feel like we got our money out of the greenhouse.
So you do, huh? You just said you'll never grow outside again. You feel like it's totally worth it for you to have greenhouse growing exclusively.
When I ran the numbers, I mean, I was paying for the greenhouse in a year and a half because I was selling. The first few years I was selling a lot also when I was growing, and just the increased harvest. I mean, it easily paid for itself in a year and a half.
Nice.
So, it's a big investment up front, but I mean, we're 6 years into it now, and it's been more than worth it. So,
you just have
you can size them any size you want.
You just have the one greenhouse, or you have a couple?
Well, I have two. So I have the big greenhouse, 46 by 46 by 30. It's ventilated, but there's no heating or cooling.
Right.
And then I have a 12 by 24 that I have heat in. So I can grow tomatoes in that one, which I just potted up some today. Tomatoes will be growing in there all winter.
Oh, really?
Lots of breeding work, yeah.
I've never tried to do that, grow tomatoes through the winter in my greenhouse. But I can heat it, so I don't know why I haven't tried.
Yeah.
You can heat it?
I didn't try it for many years because I had read or assumed that once you're in the dead of winter, you don't have enough daylight that they just won't grow. Well, I found out that's not to be true. They will grow.
Yeah,
they did.
I grow them in my basement, so.
Yeah, true. I do in my basement too.
Yeah,
and we don't need any supplemental light either in the dead of winter.
I can keep it above.
No, they don't.
No.
Interesting. What kind of lighting? Did we talk about lighting already? What kind of lighting do you have?
I don't have any lighting in the greenhouse.
You don't?
No, I mean they're outdoors. I just use what's out there. I mean, I have LED lighting, but not for growing. Just so I can go out there and work. In the summer, I can work at night when it's cooler.
When do you take your shade cloth off?
I'm sorry?
When do you take your shade cloth off?
Usually, so that's a good question. Putting it on for us, I go by the forecast, but we probably put it on. I'm in zone 7B. I have to go back and look, but I think it was like third week of March.
Really?
Taking it off, I'm actually debating on doing that this week.
Yeah,
for the fall and winter babies. Yeah, because we're still getting 85-degree days here, so the sun hasn't really dropped that much yet. So it's still getting really hot in there. So
we're getting like 80s, but then the nights are getting down there into the low 50s, high 40s even.
Yeah. Look, last year I took the shade cloth off on October 10th, and that's probably what we're looking at again.
By the way, your trick worked. A couple of weeks ago, Bill and I were talking. I was talking to him about how um, tomatoes this time of year, you pick them, they just don't have the same shelf life. And Bill said that he picks them this time of year. He swears that picking them green as green can be and letting them ripen indoors tastes better than even allowing them to get first blush on the plant. And
Mm-hmm.
he suggests I make a video, and I started a video. I'm not sure if I'll finish it, but it worked. It totally
Oh yeah.
worked. I did it with Ongway ES, as a matter of fact, and they taste exactly the same, and they last longer. So yeah, that trick was a good one.
Yeah, you think about it. I mean, if your nights are now falling into the low 50s or below 50 every night, you're basically refrigerating your tomatoes at that point.
Right.
So picking them early and letting them ripen indoors where it's warmer.
Yes, we
Takes
don't.
a little longer, obviously, but I think the flavor's better. Yeah.
So
Now,
some,
cherry tomatoes are the exception. I did an experimental crop several years ago for restaurants, and the cherries actually held their flavor really well. We were harvesting up even in Thanksgiving. We actually had a couple light frosts. They didn't kill the plants, and we kept harvesting into December. And they're cherries, so it's hard to have a bad cherry.
unless you're talking about P20, then yes, it's a
Yeah.
cherry. So if somebody's looking to get started with a greenhouse, like not a Bill Yoder greenhouse, but something starter, what should they be looking for? Like what things would you say would be non-negotiable?
Yeah, a greenhouse itself, we're not just talking a high tunnel, but a greenhouse itself, you want, um, I've seen, there's lots of kits available out there. Some of them are really, really cheap. And it's like, $200, I can have a greenhouse. Yeah,
Yeah.
but one, you got to reinforce it because the hardware is never good enough. It's really not very strong at all. The rigid, I guess it's corrugated plastic most of them use. I mean, it's really flimsy. Um,
Yeah, they make them look so good on like Amazon and stuff, but
they look good.
yeah.
If I've seen a few people build them, and you got to square those things up exact because they have no tolerance if they're not square or aligned because everything's so cheap and thin. And then if you get a good wind and it starts blowing, you've also got to tell people if you want to go a cheaper kit, you got to make sure you increase your hardware and you anchor that thing down. You need to anchor, and they sell anchors and things. But yeah, you don't want to trust the structure itself. But I was going to go with the rigid material, but I didn't. I just went with really the best quality greenhouse film, 6 mil. If you're going to grow tomatoes in there, one really important thing is to spend the extra money and get the not just the UV protection plastic, but the anti-condensate is very important.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because if you don't have that, every night you're going to get condensation build up in your greenhouse on all your plastic, and it's just going to be like it's raining in there in the morning. If you have the anti-condensate plastic, then it just runs down the sides, and your plants don't get wet.
Good to know.
I have one row in my greenhouse that, because the guys that put it up folded the plastic before they installed it, I got a crease going down one row. And so it rains.
But you're not resentful about that or anything.
Not at all. Not at all. Yeah, that was great. So that's really important, I think. And the 6 mil plastic, you take care of it and clean it every season. It's really important to clean it at the end of the season, even if you just spray it off. Because dirt does build up, and not only the inside, but the outside.
I have not done that.
Yeah, because it'll break down, sooner.
Right.
Yeah.
So do you use a specific product, or you just say hose it down?
Yeah, I do use a specific product. There's through my greenhouse tech supplier. There's several different products. Trying to remember the names, but they're available in all the online shops. And there's different ways to go. They all do the same thing.
Yeah.
Some people like one ingredient chemical more than the other. But definitely do that because you want to. That's plastic's expensive and it just keeps going up.
Yeah.
So I've gotten 6 years. The 6 mil, I think you usually have like a 5 year. I don't know if it's a guaranteed warranty, but 5 years you should give to take care of it. And I'm on the 6th year of mine, and it's still looking good.
Hmm.
So
And then
that's
good ventilation, I assume too,
of
right?
your greenhouse. I'm sorry.
And good ventilation too is probably
So good ventilation. My small greenhouse is very inadequately ventilated. I got to fix that. They did not size the fans right at all on that one. And if you're growing into the summer and you don't have ventilation, I think the smaller it is, obviously it gets super hot. So ventilation's key. I mean, error on the side of more than less. Uh, let's see, ventilation. Oh, the height. If you're going to grow tomatoes in there, especially if you're just doing starters in your greenhouse, height's not super important. But if you're actually going to try to grow plants in there of any size, again, the higher the sidewalls and the peak, the better.
it's a good tip.
And in the shape of a greenhouse, there's arch and then there's A-frame. We're so far south that snow is usually not an issue for us. Um, so I went with an A-frame on there. There's one other thing. The width is kind of important too. Think about what you want to grow in there, because these kits now from these companies, you can pretty much buy it at any size you want. Whatever your space fits, whatever it will hold. But think about the design first, because an extra 2 feet can make a big difference. If you're planning on putting beds in there and growing in beds, you want to make sure you have um, enough space in your paths and on the sides. So think about the width a lot, and kind of have a plan before you make a final decision on your dimensions.
They look so tempting. You see these beautiful things on Marketplace, and they're all packaged together, and you have these grand visions of growing beautiful tomatoes and starting early and all of that stuff. But I guess you really do get what you pay for, I assume.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. If you're handy and you don't mind, putting a lot of extra work into it, then you can buy it and get away with a cheaper one. But
Yeah, my husband, my first one was a $100 Amazon one, and he just like made like basically just a wooden bottom and attached it to the wooden bottom. Now, I will say it doesn't stand up to a tree falling on it. There was that. But
you got a better one out of it.
It was good. Yeah, I did get a better one out of it, but it was good up and, as I knew buying it that it was going to need kind of doctored up a little bit, but it was still, it was
the other important factor is orientation. Do you want to run it north, south, or east, west? If you're going to grow tall crops in there like tomatoes, then having it north, south is better, because it's going to get more even sun across all the rows throughout the day. If you orient it east and west, then that's not as efficient, not as equal distribution. But if you're not growing tall crops, then it really doesn't matter.
So you have a question from RDB Tunurin. I'm sorry for the pronunciation again, RDB. I'm trying to do speed breeding indoors with LED lights. I want to get at least one fruit from a plant as soon as possible. Do you think pruning some leaves from the seedlings will speed up flowering?
I don't think so. I've not seen that myself. I have not pruned for that reason before, but I've pruned pretty early on some varieties that are kind of get bushy.
I haven't noticed.
I've not noticed it. I've not tried it though intentionally.
Yeah.
Time to experiment.
Yeah.
Another experiment. Yeah.
I'd say plant earlier. Again, I think a lot of people their standard starting procedure, right, is you seed seeds in a flood tray or what have you, and then 3 or 4 weeks later you pot them on to a 3 to 4 inch pot, and then 3 to 4 weeks later then you put it outside. Well, if you've got a greenhouse, even a small one, take advantage of that thing. And if you want to start really early or get early fruit, start 4 weeks earlier than that, and then just pot them on another time. So I go from the seedling tray into a 3 inch pot, and then I'll pot them into a 5.5 or 6 inch pot. And so I'm at 12 weeks, and I've got to plant this big instead of this big.
Yeah.
You know, so we're getting fruit set really early. But
Yeah,
if you've got space and you've got the environment where you can do that, you know,
that's the best part. And we see it every year in Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap. People, we're so anxious to get started. Everybody's so anxious, and you're thinking, I'll get earlier tomatoes if I just start in, well, in
yeah,
my case, like February or something. And it sounds like a really good idea at the time, but then it just turns very ugly. So
I
a
think,
greenhouse would be great for something like that.
yeah, I'm gonna
it's
try to.
something I started using last year, which has made a huge difference. I didn't do it previously because my greenhouse is pretty big, and to implement something that would reduce the humidity would have been really expensive. But I bit the bullet last year, and through a hookup, I bought two pretty big commercial dehumidifiers,
Hmm.
um, and that made a huge difference. And then
Really?
I took one smaller one and I put it in my small greenhouse. So anybody that wants to do like a starter greenhouse, yeah, okay, maybe it's heated, but if you're going to get 90, 100% humidity overnight, that's not good for things
Mm.
like tomatoes and basils.
Mhm.
And we would get a lot of foliar disease.
Yeah.
But once I started using a dehumidifier, everything is just perfect. I
Oh,
mean,
Good to
nice.
know. It's
it's
good.
just amazing. Yeah. And they're
Jamie
pretty
wants
inefficient.
Jamie wants to know, will you be breeding more dwarfs? Well, the
Yeah,
Prince
it's
Prince
on the
line
list
was
of things
all
to
dwarf.
do. Yeah. I haven't, I've got a few things in the works, but um, I haven't jumped back into that fully yet. I don't know. People keep wanting to do micros. So. Seems like there's a lot of work to do there.
I'm sending you seeds. I think we need you in that area for sure.
Yeah,
Um,
I think I'm on board. Yeah,
Hector says I want a 15 by 15 pop up, but can't find one,
pop up.
like a pop up greenhouse, I guess.
Trying to, my neighbors actually bought one. I need to find out and follow up with you. They bought a kit back in the spring, and they're pretty happy with it. I think they kind of went mid-level. They didn't buy super cheap. They didn't buy super expensive. They went in the middle, and it seems like they got what they needed. Um, so I'll find out what that was because I know they ordered it on Amazon. And I went over there and looked at it, and it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Drew wants to
And
know, Bill,
Farmer's Friend is one company. If you want to
farmer
go the steel post route, Farmer's Friend I think sells them.
farmer's friend.
Yeah, and I
Yeah,
can't remember the other company. Bootstrap Farmer I think sells some now as
they've
well.
got nice stuff.
Yeah, they do. And their steel is really, I know their steel is really good quality.
Yeah.
What is your best producing
What
tomato in terms of harvest?
number at harvest?
Well, I usually go by weight instead of number. I pay more attention to that.
Hmm.
But I believe by weight, I'm pretty sure it was chauffeur. Yeah.
Chauffeur, I can see that. Those things were huge.
Yeah, by number, it might have been Shake the Disease. Um,
That was a huge producer for me this year. And I saw back here, Malachite Jen said, not the plant's fault. It was a bad season, but I got only one stuffer well, waiting
yeah,
impatiently to taste it.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of a later variety. That's the one thing I'm not. I wish it was earlier, but it's
And
not.
she's out in it.
And it's potato leaf, and potato leaf for me can always um, suffer from setting fruit. Um, Strangely, I have a lot of problems in the greenhouse with potato leaf varieties getting good production.
Really?
Hmm.
Yeah, I didn't notice it for a year or two, and then I realized I'm like, you know what? All these varieties that aren't produced so well are all potato leaf.
I
So
wonder if that
I
they
started doing
just.
a heavier pruning. And one thing I know is they were getting giant leaves, and that was again part of the unbalanced nature of the environment in the greenhouse. And so I started doing some more selective pruning, and that helped a lot. But it was not only number of leaves, it was like, wow, these things are huge. So you really got twice as much foliage as you think you do when you really
Right.
look at it.
Yeah, I didn't have great production on Sufferwell either, but it's just that good that I
Yeah.
don't care. I have one in a grow bag. I do have one in ground, but that one is forever in my forever garden because it's like
That's the
tied.
one benefit of it being later maturing is as I'm trying to plow through all the other ones and taste them all. Yeah, I can wait on the suffer well later when I don't have as many other things, or when I've already tried them.
For those of you that haven't
Super productive too.
tried it, it's a cross of Berkeley pink tie dye and Cherokee purple. Yes,
Wait, suffer well.
suffer well.
Cherokee purple potato leaf
Cherokee, right?
variety. Yeah.
Here
How
it is.
does that not taste delicious?
And it is. Oh, it can, because my two of my favorites, Malachite Box and Dwarf Purple Heartthrob, I bred those last year. I grew out a bunch of F2s this year. They were not all delicious at all.
It happens for sure.
Yeah, it's weird. So
Cherokee purple potato leaf I picked because it was potato leaf and because it was super productive and in a pretty short plant. And unfortunately, the production didn't come through on the cross. But oh well.
But yeah, Shake the Disease was super productive for me this year.
Yeah.
And that's a great tomato too. I see John Kramer is here, the one who's giving away gift card for Bill. He loved Shake the Disease. He can't stop talking about it.
Nice.
Greg says, oops, sorry, hang on. We got it right over your face here. There we go. Thanks, Bill, for the Duran Duran line.
Awesome. Glad you like it.
Do you know, yesterday on my Thursday show, I was talking, like promoting the show, and I was saying, oh, Bill's the rock star of tomato breeding. And I'm like, he's got Depeche Mode line and he's got Prince. And I'm like, who else does he have? Do you know, I didn't even think of Duran Duran.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
I know. Somebody reminded me.
Of herself.
I was very.
Yeah, I felt bad. The magazine article they did last month, it came out, and it was the editors chose I sent them a bunch of pictures, and they chose the Depeche Mode ones. I was like, that's great, but there's no Duran Duran in here. And then I felt really bad. Like, those need to be in here. But,
Oh, well, your Durans, they're gorgeous. And I didn't even I felt guilty about not being able to grow them all this year either, but next year.
yeah.
Eva wants to know, do you have any good dwarf tomato varieties that are good for growing in a green stalk?
In a green stalk?
Yeah.
Interesting. I have not grown in green stalks before. I just bought my first 3.
Did you?
So I haven't tried it yet. Yep.
I would try definitely raspberry beret. It's nice and compact. I mean, I've grown mini dwarfs in green stalks before. They're still a little bit of a challenge, but any of those Prince ones I think would be good.
So are you doing the green stalks with the bigger container size, I guess, like the 5-tier, is that right? 7-tier
Right.
smaller pockets, right?
Yes.
5-tier
Right.
bigger pocket.
Yeah. I've done micros and minis in the 5 tiers for a couple years now, and they do pretty well. I mean,
Yeah.
if you water them, they do even better.
That's a good point, Jen. They do have to.
That's
You
me.
have to water them. Anybody else have questions for Bill while we've got him here? Heidi says, I suffer well in the greenhouse right now. Excellent.
Yeah, good.
Excellent.
I guess we haven't talked about pollination in the greenhouse.
Good question or good topic.
Yeah.
Let's do.
So that's a challenge. So what I used to do is go shake plants every day. That got tedious. If you got a small greenhouse, it's not a big deal. But if you have a big one, it's a big deal. So the ventilation really isn't enough.
It's not.
No. I mean, if you upsize your ventilation and had it really blowing in there, it might be. But what we did was we installed little vibration motors over each bed
Really?
attached to the guide wires. And so I flip a switch and then they shake.
Wow.
What?
I
Oh,
need to see these. I need to see your greenhouse someday.
That was not my idea. I can't take credit for that one. That was one of the buildings I did.
that in
And it was
action. It sounds so fun to
Yeah.
watch all your plants just like dance.
Let's all take a field
Now,
trip.
what I would do if I wasn't breeding in there, if I was just growing in there, what I would do is I'd go in there with a leaf blower.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Just walk up and down the aisle every day, one time.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hey, you can even do that outdoors when it's really humid in the summer. You're not getting any wind and
Yeah.
everything's still.
In the basement,
through.
we just use fans.
I guess another benefit of greenhouse growing is when you're breeding, like obviously you don't have to worry much about cross pollination, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't think I do because I've never seen a bee in there, but I know Alexander has gotten a few interesting, different looking
Yeah.
tomatoes off the ordinary world that looks interesting.
He's talking about Alexander from Lucky Garden. For those of you that may not know, he's a great grower and a big fan of Bill's too. I'm sure he'll be
Yeah,
watching
so
the recording of this. He's a big fan of Bill's.
and there was somebody else that reported something that might be a cross, but I've never experienced one yet. We keep it sealed pretty well, so I've never had any. I have insects, but I've not had any bees get in there. Yeah.
So the insects wouldn't cause like much cross pollination because they don't go from like they don't like the ones that you're getting don't like fly or
No, they suck the blossoms till they die, but they don't provide any pollination.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
We
This
know
is
about that,
a
Jen.
good thing, yeah. Oh, aphids, hate them.
yeah.
I tried molasses this year, and that's what finally got rid of my aphids.
Yeah.
Have you ever done a molasses spray?
For fertilization, not for nutrients, but not for insects.
I I tried ladybugs.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't work. And then I sprayed with molasses, and within 24 hours, they were gone.
Cool. That's
And
the
they,
other thing. If you're going to introduce insects in your greenhouse, you've got to make sure, because a lot of people say, "I'll just release ladybugs in my greenhouse." Well, they'll eat the good guys and the bad guys.
Will they?
Yeah.
I was going
So
to
you
ask you
need to
about
make sure you're buying the right insects that will only eat what you want them to eat. Yeah, or parasitize what you want them to. The latest, I think actually, we have one new insect pain in the greenhouse that I discovered last week, and that's pill bugs.
oh, yeah.
What are they called?
Yeah,
Pill bugs?
pill bugs. I think some people call them roly polies.
That's interesting because you said you have like like it's a sterile soil, right? There's nothing to break down.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first too, and then I realized what it was the product that I use to fertilize is an organic product with tons of minerals,
Okay.
micronutrients in it, and that's what they're attracted to.
Yeah, because they usually are attracted to stuff that they can break down, like
Right.
use
Yeah.
compost or manures. So yeah. Oh, well, that's
Yeah,
a
all
bummer.
the mycorrhizae in the soil. Oh yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
So I just had to buy some beneficial nematodes for them because they were eating all of my fall veggies already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's always something.
T Please 17 says, Bill, can you tell us more about your new one, Tainted Love, which looks amazing? Flavor profile, growing habit, or anything good to know?
Let's see. It's the flavor profile. I think it tastes like a really good red tomato. I think it's got more flavor than things that look similar, like Sergeant Pepper's. I think to me it tastes better, a little fuller flavor maybe, and it's slightly smaller. It's very early, so it's very early producing, and it produces a lot. Um, what hasn't gotten complete, I'm hoping it's stable, but it may not be yet, is what I was going for is trying to get a stronger plant and not be so wispy. And I'm still getting a little variability in that. And what I do is I just cull the ones out that I want because I'm not planting that many of them. But you could get, a wispier seedling and a stronger seedling, and you definitely want the stronger one. But they produce really early, like crazy numbers. And then because they produce so much so early, what I would probably recommend doing if you wanted a consistent harvest is I would pull off some of the early fruits because the plant gets so overwhelmed, gets stressed out, and then it doesn't set fruit again for like 2 or 3 weeks because it was just so overloaded. And and it doesn't have enough foliage, so it's trying to get back in balance. So what I would do next season is I would pull off some of the fruits.
Like when you say pull off the fruits, like how early? Like
early. Like like I've got 6 tomatoes on a cluster, I'm gonna pull off 2 of them.
that's like pinching off seedlings to me. I don't know if I can do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. You'd have to be strong-willed.
Yeah, I finally, because some of those, varieties are great. Like White Tornado, it sent so many. I think I've sent pictures on Facebook on that. It was so. Some of them I pruned and some I didn't. I wanted to see the difference. And yeah, I mean there must have been 20 tomatoes on the first couple of
Oh
hands,
my.
and then it just took weeks for it to recover and set more fruit. The ones where I pruned off to like 4 or 5 a cluster set fruit more regularly. So yeah, but yeah, tainted love. Yeah, so it's very early. It's very productive. I like the flavor a lot. Um, Call for a stronger seedling if you can.
What's
Even the wispier ones though still set fruit. The tomatoes are just a little bit smaller.
what's the flavor profile like?
Yeah, I'm trying to figure. To me, it's like a Sergeant Pepper's, but with a little more full flavor.
Oh,
So it's not super. It's sweet, but it's
hmm.
balanced. Um,
Everybody likes
I use the term weak with some antho varieties. You get kind of a weak diluted flavor.
uh-huh.
It definitely does not have that. It's definitely got a good flavor that comes through. So it's got some good acidity with sweetness. So I like it a lot. I took it to my chef that I rely on for his opinion greatly, and he really liked it.
Oh, nice.
So I was happy. I'm like, if you're serving it, then that's good with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I just found Bill Yoder's website, and I put it in the comments. It's a long link, but you can also find it in our group, Tomato Lovers Collective, and swap. It's billyodertomatoes.wixsite.com.
And I will try to put some time in and work on it sometime. I don't know when. But there's a lot more information I want to put in there too. I mean, besides a brief description, I'd like to add more information about, what's the generation, how stable is it. If it's not fully stable, you need to know that. A few more pictures and having them sliced and everything. That a lot of times I don't get enough pictures. What was the one I did?
I think your pictures are phenomenal. I tell you that all the time.
Mm-hmm. The pictures when you have them like all in rows and boxes, I'm just like, oh, that's so pretty.
I know. Those are cool.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I spend more time playing with them than I do.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta do it when.
Yeah, there's one. I'm going to post a picture of it soon. It's a really bright, vibrant red tomato interior. I'm calling it rock lobster. I'm going to do a few.
B52
tomatoes. Yeah. And then I couldn't find a picture of the exterior. I'm like, I couldn't find it anywhere. Oh well.
How do you come up with like what tomato you want in what collection? Because you would think like I'm releasing all these this year, this will be part of the Depeche Mode collection. But then last year you're like, nope, I've got one more that needs to go to the Depeche Mode collection. Like, how do you figure that out? Is it the names of the songs or juices?
It's either from the tomato, something to do with the tomato, an attribute, the look, the shape, something about the plant, or I don't know, whatever pops in my head. It was like the one I was posting the other night. The police, the cherry, the burgundy wine colored cherry. It's like, well, it's kind of got the teardrop shape, so and that sticks with me. And I think tears, driven to tears. But then it kind of looks like wine. It's kind of looks like a bottle shape, and I'm like message in a bottle. Yeah. I don't know.
I swear when I told you when I bit into Hungry Like the Wolf, I'm like, oh my God, he's right. It's juices like wine. And
yeah, that one came to me right away. Just from the coloration, and then when I tasted it, because I don't really like red tomatoes, and then to have the black with the red combination, I like that a lot. I think Blasphemous Rumors may be my favorite name though.
That's a good name. I know you and I talked about that because people think a lot, not tomato heads, but a lot of people think that green tomatoes are blasphemous, and we think,
oh, no.
Great.
Yeah. And one of the new ones, my wife actually helped me name because she's been wanting a Tears for Fears collection forever. So I was working on a couple of those, and then Mad World, when we were harvesting that this spring, it just kind of jumped right out. It was like, it's so dark. Yes. got a lot of antho striping, and then its interior is dark, and it just kind of fell into place.
Mm.
Yeah.
You're a good team, the two of you, you and your wife. Eric says, I loved all the Bill Yoder varieties this season. I know I sure did too.
Yeah.
Gang, last chance to get in hashtag tomato. We're giving away 3 prizes. John Kramer has $25 gift card to Bill's shop. So you get to do all fun shopping. Thank you, John Kramer. And then Teresa Begin has 2 different seed packages. So type in hashtag tomato. And any last questions for Bill about greenhouses or looks like there's a conversation about sourdough going on here.
Sourdough used as fertilizer.
Hunger Like the Wolf was great, says MB.
Yes.
I agree. I was so glad. It was tragic when it died, so I was so grateful that Jen had that with her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have saved so many seeds for that variety.
Nice. That's good.
I am going to be growing it again.
Kelly wants to know if you'll be adding more varieties to your Duran Duran collection. I know there's going to be one.
Hopefully there's going to be one. I'm not sure if it's stable yet or not. I'm going to find out in a few months, but yeah.
I've been after him for a new religion, and you're like, it has to be the perfect tomato.
I know. We're going to have to figure that one out. Yeah. You got to be involved in that one.
If I was involved with Suffer Well, because that's so good, I would have said this is a new religion, because that tomato is just so damn good.
Yeah, Careless Memories. That's the one that I hope.
Oh yeah, right.
There may be another one too. There's more songs.
There's a lot of songs.
One of them I named because I was harvesting it, and the song came on the radio, and it did kind of fit it. Like, well, there it is. It's got to be that.
Divine intervention there, huh?
Yeah.
Idaho Garden Girl. I just put Bill's website in the comments again.
Okay.
Janet says, can't wait to grow Blasphemous Rumors next January. Lauren's looked superb. It was superb. Really, really good one. All right, so let's give away some prizes. This 90 minutes went fast, as it always does.
Good. Lots of good information.
Hang on, we need Bill. Where's Bill? There
he is.
Okay. If you win, you can private message me, and I'll get you in touch with John or Teresa, and we'll let you know, Bill, who the winner is, and get you and John in touch. All right, first winner for the $25 gift card to Bill's shop. Ooh, this is a long one. We need like a drum roll.
There we go.
Congratulations, Sherman. Fantastic. Congratulations. Okay, and then Teresa's package number 1, which is Dwarf Edith Stone, Dwarf Speckled Heart, Sweet Splash Electra, Dwarf Nano Meatball, and Dwarf Electric Pinky. The winner is...
Like waiting for the ferry to go across.
Barb Thompson. Congratulations, Barb. And then number 2 has Suffer Well.
What's the sin going to be?
Maple Syrup, Melon Liqueur, Marina's Praise, and Jarson 10, one of my favorites from last year. That's a great one. Thank you, Teresa, very much for your donation, and John as well.
Really awesome. Yeah. Thanks.
Melon Liqueur is amazing.
I haven't grown that one. That's a Sophia, right?
What's that?
Is that a Sophia Sakova variety?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is.
It's so good.
Michael Breyer. Congratulations, Michael.
Congrats.
So you guys can private message me, and I will get you all in touch.
Big list of tomatoes to pick out now. like a bunch that were mentioned. Like, I want to grow that one. I want to grow that one. Bill said that's good. Just can't get enough. Got to grow that one.
Well, you hear me on Thursdays. I talk on my show, and I'm like, Bill told me I should grow this one. Bill told me I should grow this one. That's where half my garden's like that.
A lot of those cherry stripes, bliss. Yeah.
Yep. Well, Bill, thank you so
Yeah,
much for
everybody liked Liz. And Liz was good.
Oh, so pretty too.
All right.
Bill is in our group, Tomato Lovers Collective and Swap, so you can speak with him on there. And then check out his website. You can email him to place orders, and his website really has beautiful pictures. I was trying to show it earlier and something wasn't working. But Bill, it's always such a pleasure having you here with us.
Thanks all for having me. Enjoyed
Yes,
it.
thank you for coming.
Pleasure.
And
Hopefully we can do it again soon.
yes, we'll definitely do it again soon. Always, you're always welcome here, right, Jen?
Absolutely, absolutely. It's always a good time when you're here, Bill. I enjoy
Yeah.
chatting with you.
Bye there,
Enjoy the
Tomato Heads.
summer.
Have a wonderful weekend. Thank you all for joining in, the live viewers, and for those of you watching the recording, we honor you as well. So thanks for watching. Peace, love, get your gratitude on. Go grow tomatoes.
Enjoy your day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye
Everybody.
bye.